Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another build stream by yours truly, MacMerlin. As you can see, I did keep my promise. Things are a little bit different here. I've removed the desk that I was no longer using and replaced it with a quote-unquote kind of like a keyboard cabinet. Unfortunately, I realize I don't have much lighting in place, so you can't really see what's on it, unfortunately. But here, let's see if I can... Here, let me show you guys. Let me adjust my mic a little here. But here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go. Let's move things around. Alright. So, you guys can't see it, but I actually have... Let's move that mic a little bit more. There we go. You guys can't actually see it, but I have the staff on top now. There we go. Keyboard staff. Right there. And then, let's see what else. Over here I've got some of my favorite port wines. And I have a TGR Jane right there. I have a Fiel. I have some camera equipment. I have the keyboard sword there too. Ah. So yeah, unfortunately not much lighting yet, but hopefully that will change today. I do plan on dropping by the Home Depot, grabbing a few more LEDs, but right now I just have that one light right there. It's my crystal ball. Alright. Hope everyone is doing well today. Who is on anyway? Let's see. Liquid Sky Design saying first. Duncan Yo-Yo on set as well. X Reaper, Max Surfy, it's Pingu. Hello guys, hello. As you guys know, the customary thing to do on this channel is talk about what I'm drinking. And today, something different again. Here we go. This is the, let's see, focus, Calypso Southern Peach Lemonade. Look at that. Believe it or not, it's a 220 calorie lemonade, so quite a bit excessive, but I saw it in the store today and I was like, hey, let's try drinking that. We'll see how that goes. So let's play some music. Hopefully that sounds low enough for you guys. Max Surfy says must be tasty. Patrick says hi from Czech Republic. Hey man, you are the third person in my life I have talked to who is from the Czech Republic. One of them was this girl that I went to school with back when I was in like middle school. Second one was my professor in college, and I guess you are the third. So welcome. Thanks for joining in. Alright, let's see. Today's build, what are we doing today? Today's build is the Iron 165 by Smith & Rune. Let me see if I can get a quick show of that. Here we go. This is the Iron 165 from Smith & Rune. Let me adjust that size really quick. There we go. This one in particular is sold through Canon Keys. It is a 65% with a blocker separating the arrow keys from your spacebar and rest of your mods, and on the top right is the Smith & Rune logo. Very beautiful board. I have one myself actually. See, it's got the weight extends to the back there. Very pretty. This was a sub $500 board, with the Founders Edition being much more expensive. That looks really pretty. This is probably one of my favorite boards in my lineup. And I think we are, yeah, I feel like I've built a few of them at this point. Today's build is actually a rebuild of a customer's board. What ended up happening is I think sometime between me and him using it, I think one of the stabilizers got loose. So unfortunately it's the spacebar one, so it's very noticeable. And the only way to really fix that, like rather than taking really thin screwdrivers and trying to pry it and like snap it into place, the real 100% solution to that is, of course, to use better stabilizers like C3 stabs. But in this case, we need to desolder the entire board and reseat those stabilizers. Let's see. Patrick says, I don't know anybody from Czech that does mechanical keyboards. Well, you are the only one I know of. 72 Atari says, random question. Did you find the acrylic spacer on the low pro clue board muted the sound? I can't seem to remember. Do I even have an acrylic spacer on the low pro clue board? Not sure. I'll have to look into it. Real 50 says, yo Merlin, just hopping by to drop a follow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Liquid Sky Design says, what's up with Durox ads popping out so commonly? Okay, so it does happen frequently, but not as frequent as cherry stabs. So it's still better, just not best. The only stabs that I've not experienced it on is the C3 stabs that TKC was recently group buying. To be fair though, I only have 3 boards with C3. The rest of my boards are either Duroc or cherry, so it could also be a matter of time before I experience it. Who knows, who knows? Who knows? Time will tell. Today's rebuild will still be a Duroc stabilizer build, so I'm hoping that it won't happen again, because it sucks. Absolutely sucks. Here, let me pull out the board real quick. Boom. Oh yeah, today's board that I'm using, I am using a KBD 67 Mark II RGB Rev 2. This is my own personal unit. Reason why I'm using it is because I'm hoping to replace this with the D65 or potentially their KBD 67 Lite, and I just want to use this a bit more before I hopefully get rid of it. We'll see, we'll see. Alright, so here we go. This is the PCB. This is the PCB. This is the customer's own Kuro Shiro set, I believe. Check it out. It's actually not too noticeable, but apparently if you press this side in particular, I believe it's this stab housing is at fault. When you press slowly on it, like just on this side, there's a small but noticeable tactile bump. And these are Gateron black inks. So, you know, should not be any type of bump at all. So yeah, we'll hopefully repair it. Yeah, and if you guys can see that, I know it's kind of bright, but if you peek in through these holes, you'll notice that rather than the stab wire going up and then right angle to the left like that, it seems to be like angled lightly before going to the left. So there might be there might be something wrong with the wire itself, but we won't know until we desolder this whole guy. Liquid says, built 3 boards over the last 2 weeks, all with Durox, and I had stab wire issues with 2 of them. Oof. Archery says, did a build for a friend and one of the 2U Durox stab wires would not stay in. Yeah, it sucks. It's unfortunately the most commonly recommended stabilizer because it's so common. Like you can buy this under the Zuggear brand on like Amazon. You can buy it through Novelkeys. You can buy it through pretty much anyone who sells stabs will sell them. And Bessa says, hello Merlin, is that your iron? No, this is a customer's iron. Alright. Let's see. Let's actually take off all the caps first. Take off all the caps. Take off all the caps. My iron is thankfully doing well. I think I also put Durox on it, so hopefully I won't experience the same fate. But I think from this point going forward, any new board that I build for myself will probably just use C3s. I've noticed I don't really buy any of the ePBT stuff anyway, so if I happen to have a C3 stab which has issues with those, won't be a problem. Here, let me lower the brightness a bit. I noticed that white keycaps don't look too well under this lighting. Archie says, I hate having to spend 30 on Zeals, but it's the only stabs I haven't had problems with. You bought C3 for the first time. Yeah, I'm gonna be putting, let's see. So when the TKC group buy concluded 2 days ago at this point, I bought a total of 6 stab kits. So that should be good for my think, for my key cult, for my, what else am I getting? A 7B. Yeah. And hopefully the D65 or the KBD67 Lite, whichever comes first. And then what other boards do I want? A Bella. There we go. Yeah, 5 boards. Yep. Perfect. Singapore, long time no chat. Thanks for joining in. Dude, this, did you join J01? No, I did not. Like, I like the concept of the board, but I think it's too blocky for my tastes. Like 65% is great with like the macro keys and like the pen rail, but it just looks a little too vintagey for my taste, if you know what I mean. It's a big board, yeah. Pandora open today. Yeah, that's true, to 60%. Speaking of Pandora, I need to touch base with Koob. Koob said he was gonna send me a prototype of sorts. Yeah, it's expensive. It's like, what, 700 bucks? Granted, it does have features that no other board currently has. Like, currently, no other board has both a rotary knob on like the back, nor does it have a USB hub. Super Alex says, hello Merlin, thank you for helping me with Via. No problem, man. Between now and tonight, just let me know if there's any issues with it. But after this stream or something, I'll probably finish up the port. Oh yeah, just for context for everyone watching, Super Alex, who goes by Not Alex on the KBD Fans Discord, was asking me for some help regarding the Big Switch PCB. This is the one that was built by Flared. And since it was a 1 keyboard, I figured I'd just port it to Via really quick. What's the best 60 I've tried? I have progressed from 60s at this point, but I think my favorite 60 that I've tried is probably gonna be my TX60. Once I get more, what do you call that? Motivation to buy another 60%, I might try and look for a gasket 60 instead. Let's see, Fropsy's Godspeed 75 is gonna have a USB pass-through, but no knob. Interesting. Do I think key cults are worth it? Okay, so I recently got the chance to build a key cult 165 Rev 1, and I didn't really get why it was worth it until I built it. Like, overall, I think the key cult is one of the best build experiences that I've ever had, to be honest. But in terms of the sound profile, I still prefer my Iron 165 much more. But I also could be biased about that because I don't own a key cult yet. All right, here, let's unplug this cable so I don't accidentally solder over it. Toss that in. All right. I am extremely curious to see what is going on with this board. Super Alex wants to sell his tofu and get a Savage 65. It would be a nice upgrade. Yeah, tofu is a tray mount and Savage 65 is burger mount. Alright, let's do this. Gotta do my thing here. Pull out my desoldering gun. I see a Divas Ow. I'm Wonin 3-2 most. Thanks guys for following. Alright, just as I said earlier, to really get at the stab right there and figure out what's going on, I'm gonna have to desolder the entire board. Which is sad, but you know, it's the best way to go about it. Because looking at it right now, I can't see a problem. Absolutely cannot see a problem. I'm one and says, what should I do if my stab still has wire noises after lubing and band-aid modding? You probably didn't do either of those correctly. I would figure out how to undo it and start it over again. What's happening with your iron? My iron is thankfully safe. This is a customer's iron. His stab seems to have popped out a little bit. So I'm trying to fix it. I wish it was as simple as changing switches, but it's not. Don't band-aid mod, yeah. My philosophy is that the band-aid mod is quite literally a band-aid for poor stab lubing. Yeah, at least I have a desoldering gun. Makes the process much easier. Yeah, I've got the slightly older one, FR300. The newest iteration is the FR301. Which clogs less and also supports multiple nozzle types. And also quite a bit more expensive. Liquid Sky Design says, I can say from experience that 301 still clogs. Well, it still does, but this guy clogs a lot more. That's why the way I prevent it from clogging is I basically replace the filter every 3 keyboards, and I do this process I'm doing right now, every row of a board. And I always empty it between keyboards. Empty this canister between keyboards. I'm hoping that once I do this, I can literally just lift the PCB up. But we'll see if that actually happens. If you lube the solder catcher with silicone grease, the solder comes out easier. The metal, not the plastic. Ah, interesting. Gerald says, how have I not been following you this whole time? I don't know, man. Most people know me for my QMK work. So typically, unless you've encountered issues with QMK, you don't really come across me all that often. It's Pingu says, my experience with cheapo ZD915 was that it clogs less if you make sure it's a little hotter than needed. Ah. Super Alex says, are buttercreams worth doing? You mean the ones that I made? Cream housing with yellow, what do you call that? Yellow stems? I thought mine were fine. Though I also haven't used that board in quite some time. We'll see, we'll see. There we go. Onwards to our third row. Pour iron. Using the Hacko equals aimbotting. Also saves time. Time and money. Like seriously, if I were to do this entire board by hand, let's say I started the stream at 1:30, it's now 1:54. Yeah, I think if I was doing this by hand, I'd still be on the top row at this point. And I probably wouldn't be able to monitor chat as well either. But yeah, it's a good tool. Desired a whole board with desoldering pump, does not recommend. So much faster, so much cleaner, and less prone to error in my opinion. Alright, let's do this fourth row. Your hand is, by hand is terrible. Add LEDs to that and it's a nightmare. I know what you mean. Because then you have to change out the nozzle for the LEDs. Alright, last row. And Bess says, what happened to your gold rush set? Not much interest. But here, this is what I always do. Let me bring it up. Let me bring it up. And you guys can fill it up. Gerald says, what kind of plate am I using? I'm gonna be using the stock plate that's here right now. This is a brass plate. But here we go, guys. Please click this in chat. This will show interest for GMK Gold Rush. And while I'm at it, might as well show this on screen. Here you go, that's GMK Gold Rush, a set that I've been designing. So supposed to be working with Project Keyboard with it, but it just hasn't experienced much interest. You know, so hopefully soon. We'll see. But yeah, please fill out that form if this is a set that you are interested in. Yeah, I think the last thing that happened that I read about was that people weren't too psyched about the novelties. And to be honest, I'm not either. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. All right, last one. Alright. Can I believe that Teha is still streaming? It's a subathon, isn't it? Dang, that guy. Alright. Archery says, how much will the 24 karat keycap cost? That will be TBD, but think of it like jewelry. But no, do not propose to your significant other with it. Unless, of course, they like that kind of stuff, but yeah. Alright, did I do a good job desoldering? I think I did. Let's see if the PCB will just lift right out. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, everything looks good. Archery says, so ridiculously expensive. Yeah, perhaps. There we go. It's lifting up. It is lifting up as anticipated. Slowly but surely. There we go. Woo! That is what it's supposed to be when you do a good job desoldering. Just to lift straight up like that. Very nice. That made me very happy. Alright, let's take a look at why this particular stabilizer is malfunctioning. But before we do that, let me just clean up the PCB a little bit. Let's see. I can put this away. Alright. Where'd I put my toothbrush? Here we go. Here we go. Alright, we're just gonna clean up the PCB really quick before we do anything more. Ah. A little bit too much, but that's fine. It's only alcohol. We'll just do a quick brushing this time. Does that not damage the PCB? No, it does not. If you use the right tools, you will not damage the PCB. So do not use toothpaste, do not use water. Use isopropyl alcohol. The kind that I use is specifically 99%. Alright, I think that's good enough. That's good enough. Good enough for a quick clean. We'll do this again after the soldering process. Okay. The real question is, what's going on with this particular stabilizer? Let's grab my tools. Very curious as to why that's broken. Here, I wonder. Here, let's try doing this. Let's try doing this. Let's see if I can zoom in this way. There we go. Zoomed in. Yeah, that's good. Bresky says, which plate? This is the brass plate. Okay, so it is this guy right here that's problematic. Let's take a look at him. What is going on with him? Look at that. The leg itself is bent. That's what's causing it. See that bend right there, guys? See that bend? That's what's causing it. Oof. Okay. Somehow it got bent. So we'll have to replace it with the one that he sent me. New wire time indeed. Let's see. Let me grab one really quick. New wire time. New wire time. How does that happen? I don't know. It could have... I probably missed it when I installed it. Yeah. Look at that. Okay. Let's zoom back out. He did provide me with other stabs, so we'll do that. Here we go. He actually provided me with the prelude stab, so we'll use this guy right there. Alright, let's zoom back out. Zoom back out. There we go. Zoom back out. Okay, now I'm super paranoid. Let's just look at these stabs. You know what? I am honestly just gonna take a look at it really quick. Yeah, that's straight. Let's check out this other side. That's also straight. And my god, does this... Okay. Alright. Let's put them away. Let's put them away. And we will go with this. There we go. Whew. Yeah, so there was absolutely no way I would have been able to fix this by just using a screwdriver and poking at it, because that's not doable. That is not doable at all. Let's screw that in. And before we continue, I do want to test the PCB. Make sure I didn't ruin it with my desoldering. Not even with pliers? Well, and Bessa. Think about it this way. If you look at the plate, right here, right? That's where the stabilizer housing would go through. So you really only have maybe like less than 1 millimeter of space to put your pliers in. So I don't think that's very possible, or I actually think it's impossible. So this really was the only way to do it. All right. As I said earlier, we are going to test the PCB really quick. No, I would say after desoldering. To repair it that way, you know, stabs are cheap enough that I would suggest just replacing it with a new one. But sure, you could try bending it back in place. Like, honestly though, the chances of you bending it back to what it was from the factory is not very high, so I would honestly just avoid it. Oh wait. To test this PCB, I actually need to plug the cable back in. Here. Let's open up VIA and do some testing that way. Key tester. It's Pingu says, you don't want to mess with trying to straighten the wires. Correct. Battle Pant says, hi, it's my first time watching your stream. How's it going? It's going well. We are testing the PCB before we continue our porting. Oof, I realized that the actual USB-C is still in the board, so let me take that out really quick. Make sure you plug it in correctly. The pins are up top. Oh yeah, for those of you who haven't seen the bottom of an iron 165, let me show you. Here it is. This is the iron 165. Check it out. That's the bottom. What are my thoughts on Satisfaction 75? I like it. I think it's one of the more unique boards in our hobby. However, I do have to say that there are some designs on it that do not match its price point. For example, that USB-C cutout looks fairly mundane. It's just a giant square. For a board that costs that much and is so highly anticipated, it should have at least looked more like this, you know? Other than that, I think it's a good board. I got the E-White version, and honestly, the E-White made it feel cheap. So if I go for round 2, I probably would stay away from it. Okay. Let's see, how can I best do this? Let's do it this way. Okay. Kind of troubling. I don't want to have to take out the daughter board, that's why I'm doing it this way. There we go. Okay. Let's plug it in. Did that detect it? No, it did not detect it. There we go, detected. Okay, let's go back to VIA and test it that way. Key tester. Actually, let's not do key testing. Let's do test matrix. There we go. That should do the trick. And where's my little tweezer? Battle says, the Adeli caught my eye. Nice to see they posted about it and still alive. Oh, looks like it's twitching again. There we go. Okay. Hopefully this is good. Come on. It's not registering. Hold on. Why are you not registering? Oh, there we go. Liquid Sky says, sorry if I missed it. How's the IC for Gold Rush going? Any chance you'd consider another manufacturer? No, I would actually like to go through GMK first, just because those are the colors that I picked. But, you know, nothing's impossible. Some of you know I am a big fan of JTK as well, so who knows? But ideally, I would like to go through GMK. So what I'm doing here for people just joining in is I just desoldered this board and I just want to make sure that I didn't kill it. It's always a good thing to do. Just because even if you're using a proper desoldering gun, there's a chance that you kill it. It's always good to test before you solder it again. What's that guy? Okay, that guy's weird. Come on. Okay. Let's test it through the matrix. See what happens there. Okay, let me just configure it just to be absolutely sure. Oh yeah, that's my MO key right there. 2 MO keys, okay. It's interesting how he mapped it. Cool. Okay, that makes sense. Makes sense. I think we're good. We are good. We can continue with the rest of the build. All right. Tosco says, hey, hey. Gerald says, what percent is the chance that you kill it even with the Hacko tool? I've probably desoldered over 100 boards with this Hacko tool, and I have not killed a single one quite yet. Sexra says, MacMerlin, you lost sound. Can anyone confirm? Did I lose sound? Oh, Sixra says, oops, mute. Oh. Vandom says, Merlin, do you know the creators of the VIA software? Many PRs are open from April to now. Yes, they are very busy. Do I use a Hacko soldering toolkit? No, I do not. I use a Weller WS51. I've had it for well over 10 years at this point. Battle Pan says, can I DM you in Discord? About what? If it's about this build or about my commissions, then definitely do so. Alright, I think we can start soldering again. Busy with VIA or their jobs? Probably their jobs and family. Scott Water subscribing at tier 1. Thank you so much. I also see a Battle Pants has followed, so as a Nazgul. Thanks, guys. Tony Jerome says, is that GMK Lux on top? No, it is not. It is JTK orange on black with a yellow space bar from one of the ePBT sets that I have. Okay, let's see. This should go in like that. Okay, hold on. Before I do this, let's just make sure all the legs are straight. So it'll go in nice. Aha, I see a non-straight leg. Bendham, subscribe with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Aha, another non-straight leg. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're good. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. Okay. Hey. Yeah, I think we actually are good. I just felt it just snap into place like that. Dubber says, can a stab with the tick noise be because it's a bent wire bad stab? It's a cherry screw-in and I can't seem to fix it with 205G0. That is very likely. Alright. Yeah, that was... Yeah, that worked out really nicely. What is that you're drinking? For all drinks, you can do it by the ! drink command, but today in particular, I am drinking Calypso. Calypso Southern Peach Lemonade, and as you can see, I'm more than 3/4 through it. Probably one of the best Southern Peach lemonades I've ever had. Aesthetic Live subscribed at tier 1. Dude, thank you. Thank you so much for your contribution to this channel. It's people like you guys keep me going. See, Gerald says, what plate do you have in your iron? What is your preferred plate option at the moment? What plate? This is the standard brass plate that comes with the iron. What is my preferred plate option? Looks like FR4. I prefer stainless steel actually. So whenever I'm ready to rebuild my particular iron, I'll probably have it custom cut. No, I think this guy's bent. Asai says my first non-gift sub. Dude, thank you. Thank you for your generous contribution. Okay, I think everything looks good. And get to soldering. Whew. All right. Whew. That was actually less work than I intended it to be, so I am quite delighted. Quite delighted that it turned out like that. Okay, let's get to soldering. I'm gonna apologize, but it's gonna sound like there is a vacuum in the next room. But it is in fact just my fume extractor on the table. There we go. Alright, let's turn on this iron. Let's get to soldering. Yeah, it just really sucks because I feel like... Okay, so I built this for this customer, right? And turns out one of the stabs was broken. So I guess moral of the story, make sure all of your stab wires are straight and angled correctly. And to be fair, it was not actually noticeable on like an ABS set, which is what was originally on this board. When the customer put a PBT set, that's when he started noticing it. So at first, when he reported it to me, I didn't quite believe him. I was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Then I looked at it and I saw that it was bent, and I was like, but I don't feel anything. So I grabbed my own PBT set, put it on, and I was like, okay, yeah, I rest my case. That is very noticeable. Zark says, I'm awake, dude. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the stream, and thanks for joining in. Welcome to Iron build stream number 4, I think, at this point. And it won't be the last, because I have another customer asking for a iron build as well. So lots of irons on this channel. Keep up the content, thank you. I am trying to finish some of my YouTube series, so if you guys caught my upload last week, I talked about part of the QMK porting process. I think I finally got to episode 5. It's gonna be like a 10-part series, so almost there, halfway through. Hopefully I'll be motivated enough. I'm actually filming episode 6 tonight after the stream. My wife is out with friends today, so I have the whole place to myself. Oh yeah, guys. Speaking of filming, one of my passions is actually cameras. Surprise, surprise. Sixerus, I see you subscribing at tier 1. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But yeah, as I was talking about, cameras are one of my passions. I've liked taking video all my life. So lately, I found a video camera that I've always wanted, but could not afford until recently. Here, let me turn things off and show it to you guys. Here we go. Nothing special. It's not a red. It's not like an actual like movie theater camera or like anything. But here we go. Here we go. Let me change scenes really quick. Ta-da! This is a Sony VG20. Basically retailed back in, I think, what, 2015-ish for about $1,800. So this is not the stock lens. This is actually a Canon FD lens, which I have in my collection. So it's basically like a mirrorless in the shape of a camcorder. So you can flip it out just like a regular camcorder, like so, and do it like that. It's even got like an HDMI output. So one of these days, I'm gonna try it as a stream camera. One of the motivations I got for this was because during the summer, things get really, really hot in here. And my regular mirrorless cameras, which is an A6300 up above, and an A6000 here, tend to overheat. Camcorders overheat too, but not as frequently. So I might actually, I might actually try this out. Who do you know? Archery says, do you normally prefer mirrorless or DSLR? Mirrorless is usually smaller, and since I'm a relatively small person, I prefer those. Look at that. But before I got into mirrorless, I used to shoot with let's see, I think I might have it still. I think it's in storage right now, but I used to shoot with film. You do photography or just video? These days, just video, but early on, I used to do like senior photography, like high school seniors. I did a few engagement shots. I assisted in 2 weddings, but that's pretty much it. So yeah. All right, let's get back to soldering so I can finish this board, right? Here we go. Let's see. Archery says, I'm actually in AP 2D art currently. Cool. Sixra says, I see you found a spot for the keyblade. Yeah. It's right back there. I still need to light it up though, because it's still relatively dark, so you can't see what I have here. Like here, let's move it back to the webcam view. There you go, see? You see that board right there? From afar, it looks like any old TKL, but that's actually a TGR Jane V2, and you can't even see it. Look, see? It's not well lit. Treeleaf says, hi, Mr. Merlin, this is Treeleaf. I would never have guessed. But thanks for joining in, man. Thanks for joining in on my Iron 165 rebuild, a customer's rebuild. Need a keyboard cam. There's like a camera pointing there. I could set it up. Archery says, I would never have thought it was a TGR, right? Would never have guessed without me telling you. But, so nice of all of you to take me at my word. It could actually just be like some any old TKL. What board am I using right now? The board in front of me is the KBD 67 Mark II RGB Rev 2. Simply because I've been playing Conquer a lot lately, and I figured I would use my shiniest key set for that. RHQ says, I believe you. If you told me you got it on the original buy. No, I did not buy it aftermarket, and I also did not buy it during the original release. It was gifted to me for porting it to QMK. So the story behind this was I had a bunch of people asking me for it. So I reached out to Yuxi and I was like, hey man, do you think you could send me like the schematics, or, you know, maybe just like one of your broken PCBs and I could try porting it into QMK? And he's like, sure Merlin, I'll send you some hardware. And a couple weeks later, I get like a 7-pound package in the mail, and I'm like, what? That's not gonna, I'm like, I surely hope that's not 20 PCBs, right? And no, it was not. It was an actual TTR Jane. So I was like, what the freak? What the freak? But the PCB that's in my Jane is actually not the PCB that I ported. It's actually a Heine H87A. Reason being is Heine's PCB has ESD protection. Yuxi's PCB does not. And I'd much rather be safe than sorry. So my particular unit is definitely worth $5,000 because it's the first TGR Jane that was QMK compatible, and it's the first TGR Jane that was VIA compatible. That's why it's $5,000. Julius thought he was talking about my KBD 67. Yeah, this is my $5,000 KBD 67. You see that silver in front of me? That's not anodization. That is literally silver. The plate is made of gold. The space bar is gold. Okay, quick question. How many of you guys here watch Pawn Stars or have caught an episode of Pawn Stars? Reason I ask is there was an episode that I just got reminded of where this guy, he walked into the pawn shop and he had like an entire wheelbarrow full of silver. And he was just like, okay, how much can I get from this? And the guy was like, oh, cool, here, I'll give you 8,000 or something. It's Pingu says, oh man, it's Pingu. This is a family-friendly channel. We do not discuss those things. Yeah, the old guy died, unfortunately. All right. Here we go. You watched American Pickers? I think I've only caught one episode of that, and it was when I was on like a business trip or something. American Pickers. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that the one where they bid on like storage units? Is that it? Don't have time to watch anything, too busy keyboarding. Well, thank you for watching this stream then. Means a lot, man. Means a lot to have you here, Tree Leaf. Which soldering iron do I use? Says Captain Watto. I use a Weller WS51. I've had it for about 10 years at this point. Hasn't failed me yet. So it's, even though I bought it 10 years ago, it's still the Chinese made one. If you buy the American made one, I know some of those have been around since, I think, the early 2000s, late 90s. They still work just fine. Pickers is the one where two guys go to random homes borders to try and buy stuff. Ah, okay. Get all my shows mixed up. Let's see, one show that... Okay, so... maybe a guilty pleasure here, but my wife and I have been watching Korean dramas on Netflix lately. I guess it's the thing to do during the quarantine. Korean dramas, yeah. Reality TV where decency goes to die. We should have a reality keyboard show. We're all just a bunch of keyboard builders who live together. It's basically Simon. Yeah, I know, right? Archery says, who stole my GMK set? I don't know. Who stole your GMK set? See, the other Pepper, Scooter the Bear, thanks guys for following. Thanks guys for following. Let's see. You're taking Alice and Jane for a walk. I'll be back soon. Archery says, Merlin, are you a software engineer? Yes, I am. Alright, half the board is soldered. For those of you watching along, you'll know that I like to solder one leg of the switch first. Then I like to reflow it as I align and push the switch in. This ensures that the switch is completely flush with not just the plate, but also the PCB. I tend to do it for every switch, but I notice it's really more of a problem on switches that are outlining the keyboard, not so much the inner switches. Treeleaf says, wait. Oh, that's the Rodon method. Yes! That is indeed the Rodon method. I think that it keeps it, makes sure that the switch is properly secured and seated. What are you using to solder the keyboard? I am using, let's see, where's my little thing? Here we go. I use a little tube like this made by Custer, 6337. Alright, time to solder the other half. So you solder one pin and then reflow while pushing it in. Yep, that is exactly what I do. So, personally I think it's a good method, but you have to be extra careful on some switches, especially Zeal switches. I've noticed that with Zelios, you tend to, I think the plastic isn't as heat resistive as other switches, so you can potentially warp it if you do it way too often or too slowly. Alright. Okay, this next bit should be quicker since I don't really have to push anything in. What do I think of the Iron 165 compared with other 65 boards? I think it's one of the best 65s, personally speaking. Right now it's my current 65 that's in my arsenal. What makes it one of the best in my opinion? Looks. It definitely fits my own aesthetic preferences. I like how much it weighs. I like how the weight wraps around the back. I like how it's gasket mounted. I like how it's a seamless design. I like how the USB-C is centered on the back. Quite a few things, to be honest. I like how the PCB has ESD protection. All that good stuff. And I also like how it's not like outlandish looking. It looks really classy. What's wrong with outlandish? Well, I guess there's nothing wrong if you like outlandish. Isa says, I like how you can get them for a fair price. Oh wait, we're talking about the Iron 165. Yes. Crybang says, I got my FE sitting next to me. Super elegant to type on and look at. One of the better looking boards out there. Completely agree. For those of you who don't know what the FE is, the FE is the Founders Edition. Also a play on the periodic table element for it. No, if I had the money, I probably would have gone for 2 irons. Crybang has GMK Cafe on it. Nice. So for those of you asking earlier about GMK Gold Rush, GMK Gold Rush uses the same color as GMK Cafe when it comes to the mods. And one of my issues with that particular shade of brown was that it was very hard to see. And so far, every photo I've seen of GMK Cafe has confirmed my feelings. So we'll see if I actually go through with it or not. We'll see. How many GMK Merlin sets do you have? I have one for myself. Oh, actually, I should have gotten one from Kono as well. I may have to double check with them. All right. I am done. Done soldering. Let me just double check. Let me just examine all of my solder joints to make sure they look nice and conical. Okay, top row looks good. That guy's too much solder. Okay. Think I'm good. I think I'm good. Let's test the PCB. Whew. Trilly says, I don't like buying boards that look like other boards. I am of the same opinion. What plate do I have in mind? I have the same plate. What is Crybang says, what's your favorite color? My favorite color is actually the gray, I'd say. Okay. Let's test this out again. One more time. Others would definitely say plum. So this one is a plum. But I also can't really see purple colors. So I tend to distrust anything that's purple, to be honest. All right. Okay, let's bring up the VIA testing tool again. Let's just actually put it on the board. Why not? Why not? There we go. And all right. Did that detect it? Yes, it did. Okay. Yay. Okay, so I know that's an FN key. Or this guy's an FN key. There we go. And that guy's also an FN key. Perfect. This guy's not registering. Let's see. Did I not solder him in? I don't know. That guy looks like he's soldered in. Let's try that again. Oh, it's a print key. Let's change that to an A just to be absolutely sure. A, there we go. Okay, perfect. Perfect. It's not broken. That's good. Excellent. Okay, well, okay. Let's clean up the PCB really quick. Let's clean up the PCB really quick before we put it all together. Here you go. This is isopropyl alcohol, 99%. In these trying times, because I touched this PCB, I need to sanitize it. Looks like my music stopped. Here we go. Let's play some more music. What kind of cleaning is required? So this is not absolutely required, but you may want to consider doing it because as you solder, especially if you solder at the wrong temperatures, if it's too high, the flux that is in solder will explode and scatter all around your PCB. Flux or leftover flux can oxidize and corrode your PCB in time. How much time? Probably maybe a decade or two. It takes a while, but of course there are some instances where it's taken much faster. So when your PCB corrodes, you may notice some cold joints, switches don't actuate anymore, all that good stuff. And if you have a white PCB, flux looks like yellow, brown substance all around each joint, and it just looks ugly. So the way you want to do this is to use a toothbrush, like I have here, and just lightly brush it, like you're brushing your teeth. So I wouldn't say it's mandatory to do, but it's kind of like a fit and finish thing. Mova says iron. Yes, this is an iron. In fact, one could say there are many irons in this room. So as far as I know, I might be one of the few streamers who actually cleans up boards like this. When I have 30% of all irons. You saw someone in the Discord saying you might give one of your irons away. Yes, I can give away Black & Decker irons. The perfect gift for that loved one this Christmas season. Yeah, I really think that people should start doing it. Especially if you're building it for a customer, you know? It's kind of like, this is the way I think about it. If you guys ever take your car to like a mechanic and stuff, right? And they do some work on it. You notice that sometimes if you go to a more prestigious mechanic, they actually put like paper and like plastic sheets all over all of your seats so they don't get it dirty. It's kind of like that same concept. It's not necessary to fix your car, right? Like if they don't put that protective covering, it's not like the repair will go any smoother, right? So yeah, what I'm doing right now is not mandatory, but I would highly recommend it, especially if you are someone who builds boards for other people. What do I use to clean? Just tap water. No, no, absolutely do not use tap water. You need to use isopropyl alcohol. Anything over 70 should work just fine. I particularly use 99%. Absolutely do not use tap water to do this. Do not. You will kill the board. Stash builds boards, long time no see. Thanks for joining in. I am at the tail end of my iron build stream. Just cleaning up the board here, then I'll be assembling it. Say, how come alcohol doesn't ruin the PCB? Okay, so here's the thing. If you put alcohol on this, and while it's wet, like if you doused it in like alcohol and you plugged it in, you can break your PCB. So yes, alcohol will still break your PCB, but here's the thing. With rubbing alcohol, it doesn't corrode. Something to do with its chemical composition, I'm sure. Alright, all the excess flux looks to be clean. Alright, perfect. Looks clean. However, what I just did was break up all of the large chunks of flux and spread it all around this PCB. And you can tell you did that because when you touch your PCB after this, there's a good chance that it's going to be sticky. That's the residual flux. So after you do that, after you brush it, you still need to use something like Q-tips here and soak up all of it. And you'll know that you're picking it up because as you clean through it like this, you'll pick up some dark colored substances. Let's see, Luke Zombie says, I don't know if I should start making custom keyboards like this. Other streamers said I should go meet and greets, but I don't get what he means. Also, I don't have any money to buy parts and stuff. Okay, I don't know what he would mean either. What's the context of this conversation you were having? Crybang says, probably meant going to mechanical keyboard conventions. I don't think we've ever really had like a convention of sort, more than just a meetup of sorts. Blech. I don't know if there are any of those near me, and he said to wait on the coronavirus has died down. Where are you located, Luke Zombie? Alright, I think that is good for now. So, right. Alright, we're gonna wait for this to evaporate a bit. Take this time to clean up a little. Savage Goose says, is this still required if using no clean solder? This is required if you have any excess flux on it. You live in Leeds in England, so I don't know. I don't know either. I've never been to England. Gordon said, is that just isopropyl alcohol? Yes, this is just isopropyl alcohol. Alex says, will cherry profile keycaps work on switches like Gateron Browns? Yes, they will. Dutch Master says, what camera are you using? You can access that by doing the ! camera command, but I'm using an A6000 right there and an A6300 right there. I was just showing off this other camera on stream really quick. But on like hotter days or on when it comes time for like a meetup, I might bring this guy along and try him out. Check it out. It's a nice little camcorder. Interchangeable lens camcorder. It's even got like a EVF right there that you can move up and down. See that? Hello. Bruce Waney says, what's up, Merlin? What is that silver board? The silver board right here is a KBD67 Mark II RGB V2. Brucey Waney says, why do you need a cam recorder in your room? It's a camcorder, actually, not a cam recorder. I recently got it just because I've been noticing that my mirrorless cameras here, the two that I use, overheat quite frequently because of their compact design. Camcorders are built for extended recording. Both these guys can only record up to 30 minutes at a time. So I'm hoping that next summer or whenever it gets really hot here again, it's not going to just die. Like, gosh, I think over the course of this summer, 4 of my streams just like cut out just because the cameras died. Alex asks, how long does it usually take to receive your orders from KBD fans? The last time I ordered was this guy right here. It took me 2 weeks. I had a customer who bought a KBD 75, which I'll be building in a few days or so. He said it took him 8 days. All right, that looks about dry, doesn't it? Luke Zombie says, do you think it's a bad time for me to start making a keyboard, or can I at least start customizing mine? What do you mean by bad time? Like, financially? Like what? How can you deliver to people? Like, how do you get boxes? Says Luke. How can you deliver to people? I don't make any deliveries, actually. I just use our local postal system here. Archery says, there's never a bad time to get into customs. I agree. Alright, okay. Let's build this. You may have noticed that my particular customer put his iron... he put his iron in a Novelkeys bag. The main reason he did this is because the actual iron 165 bag, this guy right here, oh, you guys probably aren't going to see it because I wrapped it up, but the actual iron 165 bag has a key cult in it. So I guess he values his key cult more than his iron 165. Sadness. There we go. All right. Oh. Okay. Alright, just finished up my drink here. That was definitely one of the best drinks that I've had on this channel so far. I'll definitely purchase more of these. These were about $1.79 at my local grocery store. So yeah. Funny thing though is, I think this is the first time I've ever seen it and there was only one left. So it's probably a really popular drink. Okay. Let's put this board together, shall we? Let's see. One thing I'm noticing is... where are the rest of the screws? All I see are switches. Uh-oh. Crybang says, this hobby can be quite expensive if you don't have the funds. Unfortunately, yes. This is a very expensive hobby. So, you'll find that a lot of people in this hobby are actually much older than you. Luke Zombie, like, I think the average age in this hobby is mid-20s to, like, mid-30s or something like that. So these are people who are either starting their career or kind of, like, already... had a decade under their belt in their career. So they're making good money, you know? And also I've noticed a lot of people, especially here in America, since a lot of this hobby is concentrated on the West Coast, a lot of people are software engineers. And I think here in the United States, the average starting salary for a software engineer is around $70K. 70 to 80,000 US dollars. So when you look at it that way, this is a perfect hobby for those kinds of people. Yeah, you just have to be careful what you choose to spend on, but please, please, please do not feel any like obligation that just because so-and-so spent $500 on a board that you need to spend $500 on a board too. Otherwise, you won't get something good. No, that is absolutely not true. This is the part that I dislike about the iron. Putting the USB cable in the channel. Actually, that worked out fine. What the heck? That's kind of hard to do here. Come on, go in the channel. And stay in the channel. Don't come out. Don't come out and get caught. There we go. All right. Here, let me get a placemat to put this on so I'm not just using the case here. Here we go. This is the plum colored iron 165. You guys can see right there with the black Smith and Rune logo. Look at that. Very pretty. This is actually supposedly the most coveted color for iron 165. Like, I get it, but I also don't get it. And I'm actually have a quandary here right now because I realized that I didn't put the screws in the case. So now I have to wonder where the hell I put those screws. Because there's no way I can actually finish this if I don't have those screws. So, where did I put those screws? Luke Zombie says, does anyone know any good art streamers who are alive now who do drawing? Luke Zombie, I would encourage you to refrain from tagging everyone in the chat. Bob Ross is live. He's live, but he's not alive, if you know what I mean. Oh, just like a random tidbit about there. Apparently Bob Ross did so many paintings, but since it was kind of like for a TV show, no one really valued his art so much until after his passing. So now whenever someone's like trying to look for his art to actually pay for a a legit Bob Ross. People have been scouring PBS stations all throughout the United States just to find it. And people are finding stuff like, oh, hey, I've got an original Bob Ross. It's in my mother's attic, blah, blah, blah. He just made so many of them. Yeah. See, Archery Pro says, I watched a YouTube video on that. Might have watched the same one I did. And here we go. Luke Zombie says, goodbye, people. I'll just do it when I have enough money. Uh-oh. Okay. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go look for the screws. Because without the screws, I think I'm relatively screwed. Crybang says, I like that pun there. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Where could those screws be? I literally just unscrewed them before the show. Where in the world did I put it? Couldn't have gone too far. Okay. Well, at this point, I don't think I can finish the build quite yet. So weird, so strange. But here, I will at least put the top cover on just to somewhat finish the build here. Xenophobia says, when you do builds, do the customers always send you the switches, or do you have a stash of switches available that you can use if requested? I typically do not stock any items. I have the customers send me as needed. Simply because I cannot afford to have a warehouse of switches. And like, think about it this way, if I stocked switches and the switch happens to be problematic, then that would mean that I'm liable for it. There we go. Do you know when mobs are shipping? Well, I know they're currently for sale right now. Okay, well, this is how the board looks. Ah, shoot, I'm pretty upset. I don't know where I put those screws. I'll find them eventually. They are fairly unique screws, so they can't go very far. Okay, well, if that's the case, I still need to put keycaps on it because, okay, so this is one thing I noticed about the Iron 165 that's not an issue with the Key Cult 165. For the Key Cult 165, they actually have stoppers, I guess, that you put in corners of the board to properly align the plate. The Iron 165 does not have that. So the way to properly align the plate, you actually need to do this and put in keycaps before you screw the case in together. That's the gotcha. That's the gotcha, something I did not quite appreciate. So typically when doing this, you really only need to do it for like the cornering cap. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 7 caps. What are my thoughts on the Plume 65? I think it's a fairly decent board. Probably not my style though. Also because I am saving up money for other purchases. What other boards are you going for next? I think I'm done buying boards for the day. No, I am actually considering the D65, which is the gasket mount version of the KBD67. That one and possibly the KBD67 Lite. Just because I've been relatively unhappy with this board right here. So I want something a little bit better, but still cheap enough and still, yeah, still something cheap enough that I don't have to worry about if I just carry it to and from work. Yeah, 6 wrist, yeah, it was Prime, no, it was Project Keyboard. So yeah. Let me post the link into chat for you all if you want to buy some mauves. Mauves are probably one of my favorite JWK switches right now, simply because of its weight. Yeah, Archery says, yeah, if they sold out, they usually go pretty quick. They sell out really, really quick. I think the last time he sold them, they were gone in like half an hour. You love red ink, so you would pick them up. Never had a JWK before. I think JWKs are like the switches to get these days. I feel like JWK was the Gaterons in like 2017. Crybank says, "All right, Merlin, hopping off for some other things. Have a great rest of the day. Thank you, and you too." How do they compare to Durock's silent linears? Which particular silent linears are you talking to? Because JWK may very well be the manufacturer. Grendel says, could you not just do spring swap on other JWK to type that you like? Yeah, I do, but you know, that's just like another process to do. Like simply, like the mods that I want to do for my boards are simply just to lube it. Archery Pro, having trouble with those differences. Let's see. You spelled it different X, the differences, differences. Jendal TV says, Hule, this is sexy. Archery process. I hate SA. You and me both, man. You and me both. The only time I can actually stand SA is if it's on a flat angled board. That's the only time I can type on SA profile. You'll try SA for the first time with dual shot. Did dual shot come in SA? I'm not aware. In a week or so. Ah, very nice. Possum says, I had like 70 when I did a test once. Dude, you are about double the average. I think the average is around 30-ish. And quite honestly, I feel that anything faster than about 60 isn't very usable. Touch typing. QWERTY. All right. If you only think at 60 WPM while writing, it doesn't really matter. Ooh, very nice. All right. Unfortunately, like I said earlier, the board is not screwed in together because I've misplaced the screws. I thought I had them in a little bag off to the side here, but I was wrong. I was wrong. They're probably with the box that this came with, so I will need to go and double check just to be absolutely sure. Here we go. Probably not a completely accurate typing test. Actually, yeah, let's not do that because I feel like since it's not actually compacted together, it's not going to give a good sound. It still sounds good though. Maybe you need to start keeping an inventory of screws. Yeah, I know, right? Well, good thing there are screw factories nearby. I can go visit them. There is a shop here that sells specifically screws. They're called Tacoma screw. I've been able to find almost every single keyboard screw there. Like, yeah, let's talk about this guy right here. KBD67. If you guys caught my build stream of this, you'll remember that KBD fans missed sending me 6 screws. I was able to find those screws at Tacoma Screw, so I will trust my luck there. All right, folks. Here, let me hold this up without it falling apart. There we go, guys. Let's change the exposure a bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit lighter. There we go. There it is, guys. This is the Smith & Rune Iron 165. Check it out. In plum, the most popular color. Here, let me pull out mine actually. Oh, I can already feel it coming apart. Here, let me pull out my iron just to compare it. Let's take out the KBD67 just to make more room here. There we go. That's the plum. There. It's like the bottom is falling off because it's not screwed. And here is mine. That's my Iron 165. These are using Novelkeys Silk Yellows with a GMK Olivia. There we go. So many irons. Alright guys, thanks for joining in. I think I'm going to conclude the stream right now. I do have to cook dinner. Let's see. Yeah, I think I have time to run to the store and cook some dinner. Z Pasta says that's not Olivia. Olive. Sorry, that's what I meant. I just recently got Olivia++, so it's been on my mind. Yeah, here we go. But yeah, thanks guys for joining in. Hopefully by tomorrow's stream, I will have found the screws for this board. Definitely will need to find them. But yeah, if you guys want to tune in tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. in which I'll be doing my weekly group buy news stream in which I talk about boards that are entering group buy, or key sets, keyboards, whatever that are entering group buy, and also group buys that are ending for the following week. So if that is content that you are interested in and you have a pretty penny to burn, definitely check that out tomorrow evening at 7:30. All right, folks, thanks for joining in on my Iron 165 rebuild, and I will catch you when I catch you. See you guys. Have a good rest of your Saturday.